You actually don't know what you're missing from modern zombies. You just don't. We are never, ever, ever going back to classic zombies. One tier pack-a-punch, bye-bye. Perks with one ability, see you later. Starting pistol, smell you later. And yeah, that's a good thing. Well, wait a second. What the hell are you talking about? Man, let me tell you, I miss the old zombies, okay? I miss up to Black Ops 3. Now this new game is just way too easy. Matter of fact, the game actually looks too hard. Yeah, well, why don't you go back and play those? You don't know what good zombies is? Why don't you go back and play those, huh? You're old school lover, you boomer. Yeah, why don't you... That's kind of what seems to be going on in the zombies community as of this weekend. At this point, y'all should know I'm all for everyone sharing their own opinion on zombies and stuff, and it's super important to make sure that we're not putting people down when discussing different opinions. But sometimes I gotta give my own opinion. And hey, look, there's a lot I have in regards to the initial thoughts about this game, including, while it is perfectly acceptable to not like the newer zombies just because you don't prefer it, I also think that some of y'all can open up your horizons just a little bit when it comes to this game mode. Black Ops 6 is finally out, and to nobody's surprise, it's splitting opinions faster than I can split this banana. Am I right? Am I right? What exactly are people saying about BO6 zombies? Why are they saying them? And why do I honestly think that you older zombies players really don't know what you're missing, at least to some degree? Please join me on yet another look at the community we all love during this absolutely momentous occasion of a new game launching. This your boy Clam Rally, and welcome to the freaking channel. Oh yeah, and happy Halloween. Before I give my own opinion about this game, I feel like it's important to see what the community kind of thinks about this game at its initial launch. I know people might change their mind a little later on, but I really am interested in looking at how people see this game right when it comes out. Also, just a side note before we get started, I'm not going to make this one of my videos I usually do when I'm looking at comments. I will add a bunch of comments in the video, but they're going to be kind of spliced in between my own opinion about the map and about the game, so don't expect it to be comment after comment after comment. I'm going to actually give my initial review on the game, so stick around for that. Let me just start by saying that this is the first modern zombies game I'm jumping into at launch. I wasn't there for the launch of Cold War, I wasn't there for the launch of Vanguard, I was there for the launch of Modern Warfare Zombies, but that's a whole nother game mode that I kind of really feel like I can't tie in with what I'm about to talk about today. But let me give you an idea of the general sentiment in the community right now. It kind of seems like we're heading a little bit away from the overall hate for the game because, you know, the game is out and people can actually see that it's kind of not as bad as people were thinking it was going to be. Take my boy, the real Mr. J, 20. Now, I don't know what your initial thoughts were about the game prior to the game coming out, I guess. But I'm going to assume that you have an open mind because clearly your response says, this game feels great. They pretty much took all of my complaints from Cold War and fixed them. Your starting weapon genuinely sucks after a few rounds, so it feels similar to starting with the pistol. Not to mention the pistol in this game is actually bad at first, so you can play that way if you want to. The progression feels great. You have to really choose whether you want more damage or more armor because it costs so much money. Even though Liberty Falls looks plain initially, there's so many little details in the map that it feels like a lived-in place. Terminus just looks cool in general. Overall, the difficulty seems to be a good middle ground between Cold War and BO3, kind of similar to BO4 in my opinion. I love it. I fully agree with this comment. Like, there's nothing with this comment that I disagree with. This is a goated comment. But for every comment I see like this that is like well thought out and like gives a great opinion on the map itself, I see 20 of these. Now, might that be because I asked y'all to let me know how you feel exactly about the map? Yeah, for sure. But I also see comments that are like this as well. All right, guys, just get a little ready for this one, okay? Just get a little ready for this. You know, nothing against this guy. You know, I'm sure, you know, he feels the way he feels about this game, and that's totally fine. But there's really some things that I gotta address when it comes to comments like this. This person says, so I finally got to play the game. This is the worst COD to date. Glad I got it through Game Pass and didn't have to buy it. Completely soulless with nothing new at all. Zombies used to be a chill, fun thing to do, and now it's a total sweat fest. Round 10 feels like round 50 with a million zombies full sprinting at you. You already have a pack-a-punch gun, and for some reason, the zombies have health bars. Zombies was the one thing pulling me through COD games, and this just isn't it. I actually want to compare round 15 of this game to like round 50 of Blops 3, and I bet it's still way harder. You can see what they tried to do, but they yanked out every single piece of what made the mode great. You can tell COD is just trying to be cool and modern, but they failed miserably. Oh, people want to be fast. Let's start them off on red like round 100. Oh, people get bored. Let's just give people assault rifles to spawn in with instead of a pistol. Oh, we need to let people pack a punch fast because they are too lazy to find parts. There's nothing left here for the average player base. It's like they cater to the 1% of zombie players. I don't care for multiplayer at all, and I tried it anyway, and it's exactly what I expected. Every kill cam was people sprinting and diving around corners with max camera sensitivity, with probably the fastest time to kill in any COD. Can't even think to aim down a scope of a sniper rifle before you're already dead. And for Warzone Battle Royales, were the big hit 10 years ago, they're all the same now. A changing map and adding a couple guns won't save it. They can't do a single thing right anymore. There's like a lot to unpack in this, but I'm not going to focus solely on this comment for the whole video because I have a few more that I want to bring up before I give my own opinion, but I really want to talk about a couple things here. The worst COD to date. What? The worst COD to date? Are you joking me? Like, sure, you're valid to your own opinion, but I really don't know how you can say that. Got it through Game Pass, didn't have to buy it. You know, that's fine. I have my game on Game Pass, so I totally get that. I probably wouldn't have bought this game for $70 whole. I'm so glad it was on Game Pass. Completely soulless with nothing new at all. So I really wonder what you mean by completely soulless and like nothing new added at all. That's just like factually wrong. There's plenty of new stuff in the game, and whatever you mean by soulless, I really don't understand what you mean by that at all. Zombies used to be chill, fun thing to do, and now it's a total sweat fest. I kind of see what you mean. Zombies definitely used to be a lot more chill than what this is now. Round 10 feels like round 50 with a million zombies sprinting at you. You already have a pack-a-punch gun for some reason, yada, 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 yada. So he's also complaining about the difficulty of this game. So this person's opinion is definitely different than a lot of the people who are talking about zombies nowadays, because this game's difficult. And I love that for this game. I notice, I'm like, whoa, this is actually getting me to like sit up a bit. You know, I do like my chill zombies, but this game is actually being like, oh, okay, hold up. I love that. But we'll get into my opinion a little more later. Just a little teaser for now. I think this person has a preference for video games, and that is totally fine. Clearly, this game and the way it's changed is just not for you. And unfortunately, it's just how it's going to be. We just have to accept that. But then you get comments like this that say the game is too easy. Well, which one is it? And then we have another comment from someone from the Discord. If you want to join the Discord, top link in the description. My boy, Swish. Honestly, the zombies is fun, but a little too hard in the later round. This comment is totally understandable. I says, oh, I agree, but I really like that about this game, that it's difficult. He says, yeah, but I don't like that 60 manglers spawn in. That is perfectly reasonable to not like. Sometimes things might feel artificially difficult, and that's a way to make things feel artificially difficult. Uncle JC kind of says the same thing too. They made zombies hard again. Cold War was too easy, and this change to recoil, ammo management, and the damage that the guns do makes for a difficult and well-deserved round 50 exfil. I wish they could cool it though with the amount of manglers. He kind of says the same thing about this, but if that's the direction they're going, cool. Maybe they will buff some of the LMG shotguns a bit. It's a very headshot based game at this point. I think a lot of people are just having this problem with the game, and I think that's a valid criticism to have. It's just annoying, because I kind of feel that way too. It's kind of annoying to have just a ton of manglers in the map. Kind of just boosts its difficulty, but it doesn't seem like it's natural. And before I say what I'm about to say, I want to say this again. I want to reiterate that if you have a criticism about this game, that's perfectly fine to not want to play this game if it's not for you. So I don't want to hear no, well, you're acting like we can't criticize this game at all. That's not what I'm saying. There are plenty negatives about this game that I will address, but let's not pretend that the game is all bad like some people out here, okay? There are plenty of changes that have been made from classic COD, so it's not crazy for people to dislike this game. More power to you, brother. I'm sorry we can't enjoy this game together. I hope maybe next game may be more your style. But let me tell you a little personal story after I tell you this. People are saying that the map is bad. And again, that's subjective because other people are having plenty fun on this map. And ain't that the point of a video game? People say, oh, I had fun, but it's objectively bad. Like, brother, you had fun. Like, you had fun. That's the point of the game. That is a successful video game. I'm gonna be honest when I say this, and I might hurt some feelings when I say this, but I think some of these people who are saying the game is quote unquote bad are people that have only played games like Call of Duty. Not everyone, of course, not everyone, but I think you know what I mean. Black Ops 6 is taking elements from other similarly successful games, and I would say that they are finally honing in that style of gameplay into that classic round-based zombies format, and I love the game for it. And I really think there are some things in this game that you older players just don't know what you're missing, guys. Now let me get into like a little like personal, I guess, anecdote is what I want to talk to you guys about real quick. I wanted to give you my own like take on this because I feel like this might kind of be happening, but you might not be realizing it. Growing up, like in my mid-teen years, I played an abnormal amount of Call of Duty and Halo-ish games compared to other styles of games. I played a bunch of fighting games, of course, and Nintendo games when I was like in middle school and early high school, but I just got like hooked on FPS games, on that FPS game bug. And that kind of gets associated with liking basic games. I play them a lot in like kind of mid to late high school. I didn't really care to touch anything like Skyrim or like Fallout because they were a little too complicated for me back then. And COD and Halo were just shoot a man, alien, or zombie. And it was until late high school, like I said, or until I would say early college for me, that I wanted to start exploring what other games had to offer. I remember thinking games like the Souls games, like Dark Souls, were way completely out of my reach until for some reason I just saw Sekiro and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try it. And yeah, I got my ass kicked. I got my ass beat, but guess what? I learned. I was able to like learn and really like encapsulate myself into this world that the game was. Guess what? It is actually my favorite game of all time. Do you know how that happened? It's because I took the plunge out and I stepped out of my comfort zone and it paid off. I am so happy that I found the courage in myself to step out of my comfort zone because I would not be where I am today if I didn't make that plunge. I think that some of you, some, alert, some people, some, not all, some, alert, some of you may be subconsciously where I was back then. Not to imply that that is an immature mindset or phenomenon for everyone to have, but that's just how it was for me, for sure, personally. But with Black Ops 6, they're taking elements from, I would say, games like roguelike or roguelite games that I would not have played back when I was younger, games that I absolutely love now. Games like Risk of Rain or like Hades. I freaking love both of those games. Oh my gosh. Implementing them in an FPS game, which I really gotta like hand it to Treyarch and like let them know how impressed I am with this game. But what I'm telling you is that maybe you just might need to give it an honest to God try. Maybe look for some positive change in the game. It's okay for things to change. Zombies wouldn't be here today without all this change. I truly believe that. And I legitimately kind of think that I grew up with this franchise. I've changed just as much as this franchise has. I really think Treyarch really knew what they were doing adding in Liberty Falls, because that map is really for the newer players. Let's just be real. That map is for newer players to get their feet wet. Not that like us veteran players and us more hardcore players can't enjoy the map, because I do enjoy the map. But I think that map is definitely as advertised. Let's be real here. They advertised that map exactly right. Like where's the credit for that? I really think the whole Liberty Balls sentiment was really blown out of proportion because the map wasn't made for us hardcore players. Terminus was. And that's just kind of clear as day just by looking at these maps side by side. I think Black Ops 6 is a wonderful addition to the Zombies catalog. But just because I think that doesn't mean it doesn't have its drawbacks. And we're going to start with the drawbacks first. Let's get into my opinion on the game, shall we? Now, I didn't know where to start with this, but I'm going to start here. The game is always online, and that is like a big L. itself, because that means we kind of have a set amount of time we can play this game for. I don't know how long they're going to have this game running, but like they can turn off the servers and that's just it for this game. And it's like, you know, we've experienced the game and all that stuff, but what if we want to go back to it like Black Ops 1 or 2 or 3? Like we just can't. That is a huge L itself. And that really is just like, I don't know, it comes with a couple good things, I guess, but I think overall it's a bad thing. And I also think that it being online always prevents custom zombies from happening in this game. I just have I could be wrong, but I just have a feeling that that's going to be the case. We're not going to get custom zombies for BO6. So if you want to do a custom experience, you're going to have to stay on BO3, which is fine. I love BO3, but I would love like a new custom zombies experience. That would be so sick. Another thing we have that's really bad is, okay, right. So you can pause the game, right? Thank goodness. It's not like Vanguard, but they have a timer. Why is there a time? That's a fat L. That is a fat fucking L. 15 minutes for your timer to pause the game. What? The fact that there's a timer at all. Like, okay, right. They probably were like, oh, you know, 15 minutes is probably enough time to use the bathroom, make some food, do things like that. But it's like 15 minutes is not a lot of time. Like, if you really think about it, right? I know this sounds a little crazy, but, you know, I paused the game and I was playing the game on my Xbox, and I started scrolling through my phone, and I just noticed I had about 3 minutes left. And I was like, whoa, oh my gosh. I'm sure it's probably because, like, they don't want you stuck on, like, the server that they have for the game, which is probably another byproduct of it being always online. So, come on. And luckily, I guess when they do it, it'll automatically save your game. But just the fact that that's there is like, what the hell? Anyways, that's a fat L. Another one that I mentioned earlier was that when the game progresses, when you get like to the round 20s and 30s, you start seeing a lot of manglers, and they start throwing a lot of manglers at you, like a lot of them. Like I said earlier, it kind of feels like it's inflating the game's difficulty artificially. It's like, oh, a mangler's hard, let's put 20 of them. Yeah, that'll make it really hard. Oh yeah, fucking course it'll make it really hard. But I guess it's kind of tough to make things difficult, you know? So I guess, I don't know what they could do, but I just know that that's kind of an L on that one. Another thing I could probably say that's a negative is that Liberty Falls is as expected. And I think that's kind of a little bit of an L. But here's the thing, right? I don't mind that Liberty Falls is the way that it is. I don't mind the map, but I just wish it was a little bit more. I wish we got 2 fleshed out maps, but I guess we're getting another 3rd map towards the end of the year. So I'm gonna kind of hold that as like a partial L for now, but Liberty Falls is fine, I think, for what it is. In fact, I think it's perfectly advertised for a person just learning how to play the map. And I guess that's kind of a more personal L, because I prefer more in-depth games, but somebody might prefer another easier map like Liberty Falls. So we got one of each. I guess that's kind of decent, you know. I think the HUD is also fine. I think they could have done a little more with the HUD, but I think for what it does, it's fine. I mean, you know, I wish it was a little bit more themed, kind of like how Buried was, or kind of like how Mob was, but I mean, you know, Black Ops 1 wasn't exactly crazy, but I do like that HUD. I had a little blood splatter, but this HUD is fine. I wish it could be a little better. I'll have that as a partial L. The HUD is a bit glitchy sometimes. I had a clip of me changing the HUD, but it kind of kept the elements on the screen as like it kind of shows you in the preview. And I was like, what the hell, am I tripping? Or did I just do something wrong? I'll show you on screen what I mean right here, but like it kind of just stayed there for the rest of the game. And I was like, what is going on? That's kind of an L, but I know that can be fixed. I also think the plating, like the armor plating, is fine. Again, I'm not a huge stickler about that. I would prefer if it's not there. But I mean, fine, I guess. Sure. They could probably just increase your health just a little more, I guess. But I wish it wasn't there, but I'm not a huge, it's not a huge problem for me. So partial L, I'll put on that. Again, things like drops, I do think this is kind of a good thing. The drops are a little more impactful. And I'll probably bring this up here as just like a partial, again, another partial L, but you have things like a max ammo. And that's like literally the only thing about the drops that I have a problem with. Max ammo. Why is it there if we can buy from the little armor crate or for the ammo crate? Why? That I just really don't get that. Another L is Carpenter is gone. And look, maybe they were like, oh, not a whole lot of people rebuilt barriers and all. Well, you know what? I liked it to break up the monotony of each round, you know. It makes, with the point system the way that it is, it gives you like a little bit extra points, just a little extra. Maybe if you're 10, 20 points short, just repair 2 barriers and then you just got enough points to get what you need. As opposed to waiting for another zombie to spawn. Just a little quality of life that I wish they didn't get rid of. That's kind of an L in my opinion. I also think attack sprint, again, I think it's fine. I don't have an issue with it being in there. I do think it honestly maybe even gives it a little bit more identity, just a little bit, but I don't know. It's fine that it's there. I do prefer that it's not, but if it's going to be there, maybe I'll learn to like it, you know. Partial L for that one. Another thing is the gobblegums are a little clunky and a little bugged. So here's a clip of me using anywhere but here while I was trapped in a corner. Like I wanted to purposefully get trapped in a corner just to use anywhere but here. So it looks like they're trying to do the thing where you stay invincible when you use the gobblegum, but there was one time I got downed because I activated the gobblegum, I ate it, and then for a second I become vulnerable and then I teleport. You can probably see that on the screen here, but that happened and I died and it pissed me off. So I think that's something they could probably fix, and I'm not sure how they could make it so that it's a little less clunky, but that's just a L. I know that was a huge problem in early BO3 where you would use the gobblegum and you would just die because you didn't get invulnerable, but then they changed that. I hope they fix that. And I think overall, that's most of my negatives when it comes to the game. A lot of it is just stuff they can kind of maybe update, but some of the stuff is going to just stay in the game, and I can live with it. Like I said, a lot of them are partial L's, but I can live with it. But I really want to get into the good stuff. The stuff that I know you guys you just don't know what you're missing a lot of the times when it comes to newer zombies. I'm going to start with the game's 30-second gameplay loop. If you haven't heard of what that is, it's essentially, bro, I don't even know how to describe it, but essentially it's kind of like when you go into a video game. Well, I'll just use zombies for the example. When you go into a zombies map, and you start shooting, you start activating stuff, you start interacting with the game. The game has a wonderful loop of what you have to do in about a 30-second time span. So when you shoot a zombie, kill a zombie, shoot another zombie, kill another zombie, maybe you switch to your other weapon, you kill another zombie, you use your specialist, use your grenade, and you fight a boss zombie. You do that in about 30 seconds over and over and over again. As long as they capture that one 30-second gameplay loop, the game is gonna feel so good. And I think that's what they really successfully did in this game. I think they really did that very well. The game kind of feels addictive to play. Like I wanna go back and play the game. And look, a lot of you could probably be like, oh yeah, you're just a victim of the algorithm. But no, that's what you want in a game. That's what you want in a video game. You want a successful loop that feels good to play, and I think they've done that very well in this. This is exactly the type of things I feel when I play other games that are roguelikes in particular. They have this loop that goes around, and what perfect theme of a loop and a cycle than for zombies, a damn cycle. And I think they are really taking a few notes from other roguelikes out there, especially with my next topic, talking about the perk augments. Okay, so I really like the perk augments. I think they're a tad grindy though. They take a little while to do, but I do like that they're adding in those elements of replay value, of customization of different things for your perks. Now let me explain perk augments if you don't know what that is, since you older players are probably not going to be playing this game. I'm trying to convince you to play it, or at least give it a try. Perk augments are essentially different abilities for your perks. For example, in the pregame lobby, in the main menu, what you can do is you can go to a tab called perk augments and you can select a perk to start leveling up, and you get different abilities for that perk when you level it up. Each perk has a major augment and a minor augment. Major augments change the perk a lot, minor augments change it a little bit. For example, stamina up is the first augment, or the first perk you can augment. So if you level up stamina up, I think you have to actually wind up buying the perk and just kind of killing zombies while you have that perk on you. What you do is you do that and it'll level up and you start getting different abilities for your perks. The one for stamina up is a little questionable because I don't know why they took it from PhD, but when you level stamina up enough, you just get no fall damage, which is an example of that. Now, granted, they took that from PhD, which is a little odd, but that's an example of something like that. And then if you level it up a bunch, you can just get kind of crazy abilities. The same thing goes for like ammo mods. And what an ammo mod is, real quick, is when you kill zombies, they can drop this thing called salvage, which is just another currency in the game. You can spend your salvage on different ammo mods. If you played BO3, there's things like dead wire, there's things like turn or brain rot. They put them on your gun. You can augment brain rot to make it so that you can now turn different like you can turn boss zombies as opposed to just regular zombies. It's just another leveling system that adds another layer of like replay value and like experimenting, which I really like from this. Like, oh shit, you can turn a mangler, which leads me to my next topic, the mangler injection and like the mangler gun. It's like small things that they put in, but like it really makes you like feel cool when you do it. I think that's super cool, and I think they could probably add more of that stuff. Imagine they add the Panzer back, and then you just like turn into the Panzer, or you just like get the Panzer's flamethrower or like grappling hook. That would be so cool. I hope they do that. And look, another good thing I'm going to talk about is, look, you guys might make fun of me for this, but I think I like the point system. A lot of the stuff that they added in this game, I honestly think works really nice with the point system, and it not being a earn points on hit and earn points on kill instead. Even with the loadout system, I don't really think I mind it as much. The guns that you bring into the game are still gonna suck. So there's still that level of progression when you go in. And also, I would say even the loadout system, like going with the gun that you brought in your loadout, indirectly makes your game harder, so that there's a balance there, because you have to really save up your salvage and your points to level up your stuff. So if you decide you want to go in with your gun and not hit the mystery box or buy a gun off the wall, you're gonna have to spend all that time leveling up your gun from gray to gold, rather than you going to the mystery box to get an automatically higher tier weapon. I think that's a good balance there. And I feel like in this game, like I'm able to appreciate the mystery box a little more in that regard. It's a different mystery this time, as well as the wall buys. Now, I know this kind of system was implemented into Cold War with obviously the points on kill rather than points on hit, but I don't remember feeling the same way I do about it like I do with BO6. I'll have to go back and kind of play it and like kind of rewire my brain with this lens now, because I think I might enjoy it a little more. Like I'm not even gonna lie. My opinion about this whole modern zombies, I feel like just kind of did a whole shift because I'm just kind of looking into it. And I promise you, if you look into this, you might feel the same way. I just had to rewire my brain and kind of tell myself that this isn't classic zombies anymore. This is something like almost totally different. And it's something that I enjoy. I can like something new. But something that I feel like they kind of brought back in a different way is the difficulty. Now, I said earlier how I didn't really care for the mangler spawning in a bunch, but I think overall, besides that, the game still feels challenging. And I feel like that's a good thing for the majority of people who want to play this game, because I'm pretty sure that's what we all want. I think, or at least most of us, I'd say, we want it to be a little more challenging than easy. Historically, maps like Buried and Ascension got criticized back in the day for being too easy, even though a lot of people do really like these maps. But here's where this leads me to my next point. There's, I would honestly say, little simple tricks that make your game kind of easier, and if you take the time to learn them, you will succeed. This may sound kind of simple, but like things like remembering to buy a higher tier armor vest. I very much forget to buy armor plates on these two maps and only really go to pack-a-punch my guns. So make sure you don't forget to do that like I do, okay? Another thing I tend to forget about is the traps. Make sure you use them. Historically, in like older Call of Duties, I wasn't using traps a whole lot. And I don't really think the casual player or the average player uses traps like that. And they never used to give you points back in the day. But in this game, they give you points. And they can come in super clutch. They came in clutch during the other stream the other night when me and Hometown Killer streamed Terminus. I'm gonna show you the clip right now. Oh, what am I doing? Hold on a sec. Let me,
The trap!
The trap, you're right! Go! Activate it real quick.
Yeah.
That is a genius play. That was a genius, big brain idea. Make sure you go give Hometown Killer a warm welcome and a subscribe and a like if you like content similar to this. Another tip I'll give you guys is to make sure you guys are experimenting with weapons, because the weapons are so awesome. I ain't talking just the wonder weapons. I'm talking like the regular guns. For example, the SVD, which is a sniper, a semi-auto sniper, is just a normal semi-auto sniper. But when you pack-a-punch it, it turns into a shotgun when you run it in hipfire mode. That's so sick. Another example is a sniper that I love using now. I think it's called the LR762. That's just a regular sniper, but when you pack-a-punch it, it just gives it explosive rounds. And when you get PhD Flopper, it feels like Mustang and Sally again. It's super cool, and it's super good against bosses. There may even be a bunch more sleeper guns out there that you might not expect, so go give them a try, because the meta ain't the same anymore. It isn't just Wonder Weapon, or it isn't just LMG. You know, just give things a try. Another thing that helps with the difficulty is, I'm gonna be honest, the Gobblegums. They kind of seem like they're not as impactful as they were in BO3, but I think they're a little more subtle. Kind of, again, I think sleeper picks, especially for, like, I would even say at least the like legendary ones. If you get like a crate power, that just saves you 5,000 points. On a if you don't care what weapon you pack a punch, that saves you 5 grand, which in this day's economy in BO6, that's a lot of money. They're definitely a surprising return, but I would say a welcome return to the modern formula. They can like save you so many points in the early rounds. Now, all of them aren't exactly the greatest, but I do think a lot of them can give you that extra bump you need to help you with your difficulty. And I would even say that they could probably give you a few more Gobblegums when you earn them. So I think every round you pass, you have a chance at getting one, but you also have a chance at not getting one. So you could go a while and not get a Gobblegum. So I think they could give you like 2 or 3, but I also heard they're potentially gonna have you be able to buy Gobblegums, like with real money, and that's a pretty big L, if I'm honest, but only if that's true. I definitely think there's a lot of new stuff that's been added in this game that scares away some people, like the older players, but I promise that at least there's something to enjoy here. I think there's at least something there. Like, it's not a bad video game, I don't think, which is why I really real quick, I gotta talk about this real quick. Remember when people were talking about like Liberty Falls and Terminus, and they were kind of talking about like theoretical times to die and like how many hits it's gonna take you to go down? They were talking about it as if the hit system was the same as it was in like World at War. Like this whole system of getting hit and like the difficulty because of that is like so different now. Yeah, you can take 13, 14 hits, but like that in the context of Black Ops 1 is insanely overpowered. But in the context of modern zombies, it's not too bad because the mechanics are different. Zombies are faster. There's gonna be bosses that spawn, more bosses that spawn, more zombies that spawn, more zombies that spawn in different areas around you, not just coming from like one window. Yeah, it's gonna be different. I really hated how people were really spinning this game out to be a bad game way before this came out for nothing but for clicks and for views, causing uproar in the community for no good reason. Just to now be on the game, playing it, and making dozens and dozens of videos talking about it. Talking about some, oh, this is now this is an A-tier map. Terminus is A-tier. Oh, I like Liberty Falls now. Oh, now you do? Buddy, come on now, come on. The game isn't that bad. Just don't listen to these people. I urge you to formulate your own opinion. Guys, we need to make sure we're not holding this game back. We need to make sure we're remembering that this game can be innovated, and that's exactly what they're doing. Guys, I promise you, if you have a Game Pass subscription, give this game a try. I'm not sure, I know they used to do those $1 a month for Game Pass or something like that. If they have that going on, get it, try it. If you don't like it, cancel your Game Pass subscription. Shoot, even $15 for a month of Game Pass is not a bad deal if you just want to try this game out. Now it's $15, so it's kind of just like a rental at that point. But I urge you to give it a try, an honest try, because I think you might like it if you guys like, you know, just try to broaden your horizons a little bit. But if you don't like it, then I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do, and that's totally fine. You just have a different preference. That's okay. I'm also not about to convince you to spend $70 on this game when I didn't myself. I have this on Game Pass again. I'm still gonna be making content on older zombies games. Don't you worry. This is just a new wave right now, but I'm having a lot of fun on it. But from me, you're gonna get a lot of old zombies content too. I ain't done with them. Trust that. Trust that. As long as you guys are here, I'm gonna be making pretty much whatever content y'all want me to make. And speaking of you guys, I put up a poll a couple days ago asking you how you felt about Black Ops 6. And 66% of you guys, this 82 votes by the way, 66% of you guys say you love it, which is good. I mean, that's a good amount of people. Nobody said they hated it. There were a few mixed people on it, and a good handful of you said you're not playing it at all, which I totally get. Which I would say, at least coming from the Rally gang, you guys are enjoying this game, which I'm really happy to see that you enjoy this so I can make some more content on it. And I intend to get to the rest of these comments right now. But hold on. I also have one more thing at the end that I really want to talk about. It's just something a little small, but it's my theories about this game and my predictions, just a few of them, and a few things I noticed in the game that I also wanted to just put on record because I want to call back to them if this is right. But let's jump into the rest of the comments on that poll. Shots ZNK says, overall game feels amazing. The multiplayer maps have a few hits, but most don't have that COD flow, if you know what I mean. Guns feel great to use, and the perk system rewards experimentation. The one bad thing so far is the spawns. Not gonna mention SBMM because we all know about it. As for zombies, I haven't played Terminus yet, but for Liberty Falls, I was pleasantly surprised. The map isn't that big, but it doesn't need to be. It scratches the beginner/casual map itch well and manages to still get difficult after round 15 to 20. Easter egg is short and sweet, which is a good bonus in my opinion. For me, I'd say Treyarch cooked this year. In Treyarch, we trust. I'm with you, man. I am totally with you. I think I'm tending to kind of like the multiplayer maps a little bit more than the average person is kind of saying, but I totally get what you mean. Appreciate you leaving your comment. Then we have one from the boy Wave. What's up, Wave? Spoilers for the Terminus Easter egg ahead. I'm not going to say the spoilers, but I'm just going to read the top part if that's cool. If you know, I know. I appreciate the spoiler warning. As someone who loved Cold War, I'm turning black undies white. Absolutely amazing. They took all the systems from Cold War, improved upon them, and put you on two amazing maps with complete different feels and play styles. Plus the addition of the set crew on the more expansive map is an amazing return to form that was so desperately needed. Yeah, I mean, that again, that's something I can't necessarily say that that's a W for the game because they took it out before and put it back in, but I do like that they at least put them back. Oh my gosh. Next one we have is from Callister BW. Man, I genuinely don't like the damage of weapons and how underpowered the lethal grenades, AATs, and field upgrades feel compared to Cold War. The point system can be an annoyance too, and upgrading weapon rarities feels like a chore because most of the time they feel weak or slow now. The flow of high rounds is ruined by the absurd amount of manglers that spawn non-stop and have huge HPs, making them the real threat and enemies of the mode, which for me is wrong because I like the zombies, not dodging projectiles and shooting armored soldiers that talk back to me while there's super sprinters right behind my ass in early 40s. I do like the new characters, especially Maya, the ambience, level design, songs, and movement, but for me in particular, there's a downgrade on mechanics compared to Cold War that I remember being fun in both early and high rounds. BO6 struggles to make me comfortable or feel rewarded by my efforts. I think the game feels harder now, but it's in a very artificial way, not a natural way like World at War to BO2. And I blame the Liberty Falls haters and their stupid feedback to Treyarch for it. This game needs changes, nerf the manglers. So I absolutely love this comment. Even though I don't agree with a few of the things in here, I love this comment because it made me think about stuff that I didn't even think about. Like I've mentioned a couple times in this video, I like roguelike games. And with those games, the game kind of starts to turn into a bit of a bullet hell, if you know what that is. It's like a bunch of enemies getting thrown at you and your abilities are there to try to help you with that. But the game is just endless, just like zombies. So I'm kind of a little more used to that, and I kind of like that a little bit, in a game. It doesn't mean that the way that I like the game is the right way to like a game. It's just my preference. Just like your preference isn't like this. And I totally understand that viewpoint. It doesn't take a genius to figure out why somebody wouldn't like this. I understand that. But for me, for the things, at least for grenades and all that stuff, that I feel like they definitely aren't as powerful as in Cold War, but I do kind of like where they sit right now. With the Tomahawk, that's definitely better. I would say, because I don't think in Cold War you can throw it and it went through a bunch of enemies. That's pretty cool. Decoy grenade's good. I like the Molotov. That seems to work fairly well. But I also think with the AATs, I'm feeling as though later on in the game's life cycle, when we get the perk augments right, we're going to start seeing stuff become a little easier because the AATs are going to get a lot better with the higher level augments. And yeah, totally agree with the Liberty Falls haters. I really don't like how this map was played out even before the game just came out. Appreciate you leaving your comment. Thank you. I'm even starting to like Liberty Falls a little more than when I first played it. Like, I know this is my initial reaction, and another thing with this video I wanted to mention, my opinions can change, but I did want to capture my initial thoughts of this game while the game is in its primal stages. I just think it's important to kind of document the change of opinion that could go into play when you're talking about Call of Duty Zombies, because I almost have a feeling that a year from now or like 2 years from now, people are going to look back on this game and be like, dang, we were too harsh on it, just like with every other game in this damn franchise. But I think the problem with that really comes from a lot of like the creators before the game even comes out, and you saw that even prevalent with this game as the perfect example of that. So I want to try to not be like that. Another comment is not exactly like a comment per se, like on a video, but I talked to my friend because the last Zombies he played was Black Ops 3. So he didn't necessarily play like a ton, like not like how I did, but like he knows classic Zombies. So I kind of wanted to hear what he had to say because some of you guys listening right now might be in that same boat. So just give it a listen. Do you like it more, or do you like it, or do you think you'd like it more?
Compared to what I've seen the other Zombies, now I played a little bit of. I think I played a little bit of Cold War during the beta. This is the better one out of all of them.
Okay. Yeah.
It's definitely more complex than the normal one. I would say that. The zombies are not linear. They're just gonna pop up anywhere. You can't like do like a train with them or anything like that. But I would say you do have like a lot faster movement. So this is like a higher speed zombies. Like you have to keep constantly moving. You cannot stay in one place. So right now I see there's a lot of potential in it. You have to explore the map more. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 right now.
Oh, for real? You give it 8?
Yeah, I'll give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay. Guys, I'm telling you, me and him used to play old school Call of Duty back in the day. He's been my friend for a long time, and I'm telling you, he even thinks that it's at least somewhat worth it. But back to our final comment, last but certainly not least, Matsuki says, not playing it at all, just gonna wait for a sale. From what I'm hearing, multiplayer maps suck, so good call on my end for not pre-ordering. Campaign is fantastic, so trying to avoid spoilers at all costs. And Zombies is so-and-so. My friend hates it so far, but I'm also hearing from the general public that it's good. Yeah, and I responded to you on the comments, but I'm gonna respond to you here too. Zombies, I think, is great. I think overall it is great. Multiplayer, we might have different viewpoints on multiplayer, but I mean, and that's totally fine. I'm loving this multiplayer. I don't know what it is. Like, I love the art style, the saturation of the colors. I love, like, there's not a whole lot of little things like different gunsmith attachments that could kind of confuse me. It kind of makes sense that everything you add onto your gun is like just pretty much a positive for almost everything, like across the board. I like the perks that they have. I think it's a much better system than the boots and all that stuff in Modern Warfare 3. Enemies look a little more distinct in this versus Modern Warfare. If you can tell, I'm not a huge Modern Warfare fan, at least nowadays. I used to be, but I did like COD 2019. Modern Warfare 19. I did enjoy that one. But like I told you in the chat or in the comment, yeah, I could go on and on about this, but thank you, Matsuki. Appreciate you leaving your comment. And the last thing I want to talk about for you rally heads out there are, I think it's like 3 or 4 things that I really wanted to mention. One of those things is how is my prediction, right? Again, in my last video talking about how newer Zombies players don't know what you're missing, I seriously think they're gonna bring back double tap. Like I don't, it's just a feeling that I have. They're gonna bring it back because I honestly think the game needs it, especially for, I would say, like making the game a little easier. I think that would solve a lot of problems right there. Seriously, rest in peace double tap. Hopefully you get quick revived. Am I right? Am I right? Another thing is look. Okay, this is actually 2 things, but I'm gonna put them into one. On Liberty Falls, right? You have these like blood splatters and these blood writing all over the map. You have this one, you have this one, but you have this one right here. Are you joking me? Have faith in chaos? Guys, they're teasing it. And obviously I know the end of Terminus' Easter egg. Spoiler, 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 is now linking chaos with the Dark Ether. And it's like, what? They have the Sentinel artifact at the very end because Richtofen's looking for it, I believe. And guys, I'm gonna say that. Look, I'm gonna say it. Look, here's what they're doing, right? They're going to chaos and they're like, ooh, look. Oh, look who that is. It's chaos. But this is a little teaser. My huge prediction, this could be totally wrong. If I'm right, y'all better come back to this channel and subscribe. If I'm wrong, y'all better come back to this channel and subscribe. Next teaser we're gonna get is Victus. Like, I don't know what makes me think of it. Victus is gonna come back, and then when that happens, they're gonna bring back Primus. I will die on this hill. I honestly think they're gonna bring back at least this universe's Primus, so it's not gonna be called Primus. Like, I am just something about it. I am almost so certain that they're going to, based off of nothing, mind you, but I am almost so certain. Like, the rest of Primus, the rest of the crew are literally walking dollar signs for this franchise. And Treyarch, I don't know how they do not see that. There's no way they don't. So I honestly think they're gonna pull some kind of multiverse of madness, some multiverse Marvel type shit where they bring in Victus, they bring in Chaos, they bring in all the crews, but they also bring in like a new version of our characters, like maybe with different voice actors, because you know damn well they're probably gonna do that if they can't get Tom Kane. But yeah. That's gonna probably wrap up the video. I want to leave you guys with this. If you don't like Black Ops 6, it's fine. It's just a video game. It's not that deep. Just know that I am enjoying this game. If you couldn't already tell my glazing throughout this whole video. And also know that I'm pretty sure I'm going to start noticing a bunch of negative stuff after this period of, if you want to call it the honeymoon period, fine. I think I'm pretty set with how I feel about it after playing it for as long as I have been over the weekend. Obviously opinions can change. That's just with life. So I don't doubt that my opinions might change about this game just as much as I don't doubt some of you guys are going to change your own opinions about this game. If you don't like this game, then you don't like this game. That's totally fine. I just wanted to kind of maybe get you to see things from a similar perspective that I was. You know, I tended to be kind of embarrassed back in the day because of liking kind of societally basic games. So I wanted to kind of step out, and it really did a whole lot for me and my personality. So I wanted to try to maybe help one of you guys out if you were running into that sort of deal in your own life. But at the end of the day, you like what you like, and that's totally fine. And that's what we're here for. Appreciate you guys for sticking around to the very end of this video. I know this was kind of like a whole lot, but I had a whole lot to say about it. So again, thank you for sticking around to the whole end of the video. Like, oh my gosh, this is almost an hour long. Leave a comment below and let me know how you feel about this so I can respond to it in a future video. But I'm really excited for what's to come. I got a few videos coming up. Guys, Halloween is coming up. Just look for that upload. I am so excited for it. But other than that, your boy Clambo is out of here. Expect some more BO6 content, and have a good one. Peace.